Greetings. Today, we're going to discuss 4 signs that indicate if you have had past lives with your twin flame and what those past lives were all about. Kind of what happened, what took place, how can I know for sure? Is there anything useful here information-wise that I could apply to this current life? Because presumably what you're after is union, right? So is there anything useful here if I can dig through this past life information that I can use to facilitate union, like being together with this person, or at minimum, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing with this person, right? Is that the goal? These types of questions, they should all be clear to you actually by the end of this video. And I think you'll find my approach kind of simple and stripped down perhaps compared to maybe some of the other information that's out there. Not that any of that other information is bad, but I try to keep things simple. I want you to get the answers that you seek, because I too met my twin flame and it was very painful. It was very, very painful, right? And the desperately searching for answers and the pain and the suffering and the obsessive thinking and just all of it was just, I don't want you to have to go through that. So that's why I'm here, right? That's why I'm here. So a little bit about me, other than that, that's kind of my background in a nutshell. But beyond that, I am a twin flame coach, and I've coached over 4,000 twin flame students. That's a lot of people, you guys. And sometimes I get out of bed and I'm like, how did I get here, right? Now, I would submit to you, probably it's my scientific approach, and I have a very, very simple hypothesis. And it is that you and your twin flame are the same soul. Now, where did I get that hypothesis from? Well, honestly, I got it off the internet originally, and then I found a lot of books that had been written about this subject. And yeah, that's kind of what most people were saying about it. And so I said, okay, I'm going to approach my connection with this person in that way. If it is true that we are one soul, then I know what I need to do, because I've always been a very deeply spiritual person. And so I just approached it that way, and it worked. It worked. It worked. And then I started teaching it to other people, and it just kept working. Okay. So telling the difference between what the kind of work that you're doing internally when it comes to the soul versus the mind. That's what I teach students. And by the way, interestingly, what I just explained to you is basically traditional Zen spiritualism in a nutshell. Hence the background that you're looking at, right? That's really all this is, because think about it. If it is true that you and your twin flame are one soul in 2 bodies, then all you have to do is, as the soul does when it comes to this person, and it works. You just have to understand the difference between what the soul is up to and what your mind is up to, right? That's kind of the guidance that you're going to get from traditional Zen spiritualism, right? Body, mind, soul, right? Body, mind, soul. So always in traditional Zen spiritualism is the conversation on mindfulness and remembering that you are actually the conscious observer of the mind. And that's what I teach to my students. And that causes their twin flame to come back. And all of these amazing breakthroughs are facilitated too. So that's been my approach. I approach it scientifically. That's my hypothesis. You and this person are the same soul. So just approach it as the soul. So if you're new here, welcome. You are about to get something that you might not have ever heard before about twin flames, a kind of a different approach, which actually, it turns out, is rooted in something very, very concrete and very, very ancient, traditional Zen spiritualism. So what are the signs that you have had past lives with this person, and perhaps even to use these items that I'm about to list off as a way to gain knowledge about said past lives and even what you can do in this one? Well, sign number 1, and I'm just going to list the signs off quickly, and then I'll go further into detail about them. So here's sign number 1. You have an intuitive knowing that you and this person are going to be together, or that you are together or have been together, or there's just some kind of togetherness, some kind of intuitive knowing, right, that you're going to be together or something like that, right? What point in time that happened, we're not necessarily discussing that right now, but it could be this intuitive knowing that you're going to be together maybe later in this life or something, right? So that's number one. And quickly, before I go on to number two, I just want to point out that at the same time, there might be doubt going on also. So you might have this intuitive knowing that you're going to be together, but at the same time, sometimes you go, well, how do I know that? Am I just crazy? Right? And so that's perfectly normal. Okay, if you've met your twin flame, and I'm even going to explain why that happens. That'll be useful for you to know why there seems to be that disparity. So we'll talk about that during the bulk of this video. Okay, so number two, dark night of the soul, right? Ego death, the obsessive thinking. You can't seem to stop thinking about this person, and it's extremely intense. It's like it's happening to you, right? Also, the acting desperate, the searching everywhere for answers. I'll do anything to make the pain stop, looking everywhere for answers about what to do, talking to everybody about it, getting tarot readings, talking to psychics, watching video after video, looking at books, information, also checking their social media 50 times a day. And just generally, you have this sense of meaninglessness. You can't sleep, you can't eat. I don't know, just it's dark night of the soul. And if you want a more perhaps dramatic and in-depth explanation from yours truly about that, I did make a video about that. It's actually my most popular video, and I did do a very good job of explaining the dark night of the soul. You might find it actually very entertaining or even useful. If you'd like to go watch it, the name of that video is The 5 True Signs That You've Met Your Twin Flame on this channel, and I've made it very, very easy for you to find. Just go to the playlists menu of this channel and look for the playlist called How to Get Your Twin Flame. And it's the very first video on that playlist. And there's lots of videos on that playlist, actually. It's all of my free coaching content for twin flames from the world's #1 twin flame coach for free on YouTube. So go check it out. Okay, number 3, the synchronicities, the signs, the numbers, 1111 everywhere in your face, different numbers, 144, 777, I don't know, just a bunch of different repeating number patterns, strange synchronicities that happen like perfectly timed events, serendipitous events that take place, signs, seeing their name everywhere. These are real things. And when these things start happening a whole bunch, it's magical. And at the same time, there comes the mind again going, are you sure you're not just going crazy? Kind of like with the intuitive knowing that I explained in sign number 1, that you're going to be together, right? You just know you're going to be together or something. And at the same time, the mind, the ego is there doubting. Are you sure you're not just crazy? But nonetheless, the synchronicities and the signs and the knowing are all there going on while you are experiencing this dark night of the soul. Ha! It's a crazy trip, you guys. It's a very crazy ride. And I'm here to tell you that no, you are not crazy. This is just your spiritual awakening. And it's a fun time, isn't it? Yeah, that's an interesting description for it. Okay. Number 4, your whole world seems to be falling apart. Now, if that is happening to you, then enough said. If that does not seem to be happening to you right now, well, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's probably going to happen sooner or later. And that's not a bad thing. That's nothing for you to be afraid of. Maybe that's not going to happen to you. I don't know that it happens to every single person, but it seems like it happens to a lot of us on this journey. So like for me, for example, I ended up going through a divorce, and the company I worked for got bought out. and made it really, really uncomfortable to keep working there. And they even wanted me to stay working there. And I was like, I don't know how I can though, you guys. Like it was just, I had to go. Like, I don't know, like everything, like all these friends, I ended up losing friends and making new ones and losing those friends. And I don't know, everything was just disheveled. Now, it's okay because sometimes you have to tear down the old piece of shit shack first in order to build the big, beautiful crystal castle in its place. So this is nothing to be afraid of. So those are the 4 signs in a nutshell. Now let's go further into depth with those signs. Before we do, I just want to spend maybe 1 minute making mention, maybe one or 2 minutes, quickly making mention of what are some of the other things that you see people talking about as far as what the signs are regarding past lives. Well, you're probably going to hear people saying things like they're going to give you an astrological explanation, for example, okay? Or they're going to say, go talk to a past life regressionist, or go ahead and have your Akashic records read, or something like that. Or you might talk to a psychic or something like that, right? If you want to know what's going on with you and this other person, that's kind of the standard advice that you're going to get when it comes to your twin flame and past lives. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up, you guys, is because my approach is scientific. And my approach, again, the hypothesis is that you and this person are one soul in 2 bodies. So when you see this other type of advice that people are giving to you regarding the phenomenon of having past lives with your twin, I hate using this word because it sounds judgmental, but I promise you it is not. Just hear me out for a second and then I will explain, and you'll probably have a big aha moment, okay? So just go with me here. But that approach with your twin flame, that we need to get astrological readings done on you and them for your past lives, or we need to get a past life regression done or an Akashic record read or something like that to see what me and this other person went through in our past lives. That is actually inherently flawed. And again, I'm not putting anybody down by using the word flawed. Here's what I'm going at. Here's where I'm going with this. Here's what I'm getting at. It's that you and this person are one soul. So there is no other person to have a past life with. This is my scientific hypothesis about twin flames. It's one soul, which is incarnating multiple times. So how can you have, and I'm going to show you a diagram in a second. How can you have a past life with another being when there is only one of you? Right? So I had a past life with them. So I'm going to get an astrological reading done so I can see what me and they, me, them, me, they were doing in our past life, or past life regression to see what we were doing. There's no we. There's only you. Okay? Watch this. This is one of my professionally done geometrical 3D animations, super high-tech computer generated graphics, which I call a sticky note, but it does the job. Okay, so, and of course, this is going to be the kind of technology that I'm going to discuss in my book. It's probably a couple of years out. It's really, I haven't really done a lot with it. The book itself, it's kind of just in my head at the time of the recording of this video, but it's about that time to write an outline. So it's coming, and it's going to be really, really fascinating if you are interested in a scientific approach to twin flames. So what's going on with this diagram is basically this is a geometrical representation, if you will, of what past and future lives look like to your soul. Okay, so the year 1750 incarnation, your past life. The year 1850 incarnation, another past life. Your present incarnation, which includes 2 incarnations of your soul, you and your twin flame, and then a future incarnation of your soul. Now, perhaps there have been two incarnations of your soul in past lives also. And as soon as we ask that question, immediately that's going to invite the inquiry of, okay, so there is a they, there is an other for me to relate to. What did they do? No, from your vantage point here in your present life, really the way that you need to be looking at this is that those are two incarnations of you still going on in a past life. Even if there were two incarnations in a past life, it's still your soul. This person is not a different being from you. It only looks that way to the mind, and that's what we're going to talk about. The mind is what is causing the confusion. Remember this. This is important. This is key. You are body, mind, soul. And this is what I teach my students. This is why I've been able to coach well over 4,000 students. And I've been so prolific of a coach for twin flames, is because I keep it simple, guys. I stick to the basics. You and your twin flame are the same soul. Also, what is the human machine? What is that? Well, it's body, mind, soul. Okay, terrific. How does that work? And I'm going to use proven spiritual teachings, if you will, if that's the right word. Proven spiritual methodologies, maybe is a better word, to guide you to a better experience with you and your soul. I mean, your twin flame. Ah, gotcha. Do you see what I did there? You and this person are just different incarnations of the same soul. Where the confusion lies is the mind, because the mind is duality. So even in a past life, you're not talking about you and then another. Me, they, me, them, we. No, it's two incarnations of you only still, even in a past life. So let's just wrap up a few maybe little question marks that you may have had about this diagram. This is something that popped into my head one day after having done this twin flame thing for a few years with my students and talking to them about their experiences and figuring out what works as far as coaching. This is what I came up with. And then, son of a gun, if I didn't end up seeing this exact same diagram about a year later being taught by another spiritual teacher on the topic of what is reincarnation. And I was like, bingo, nailed it. So again, this is a known methodology. This is a known, and this, I'm not special because I seemed to have thought of this on my own. This is just, it's knowledge that's out there. It's no different than any other scientific endeavor. It's like, what if I have one person on one side of the world who's trying to figure out what 2 + 2 is, and another person on the other side of the world doing the same thing? Well, they're both going to reach the same conclusion at some point. This is just really, if you think about it, a video about reincarnation of you. This isn't necessarily a video about reincarnation about you and some other person, because what I'm telling you is your twin flame, who appears to be another person, is not. They are not an other person. They are you. The question is, and listen carefully, what is you? What is that? What is you? Indeed, what is that? If it is true that me and this person are one soul and two bodies, how does that work? Is there a scientific answer? Yes, absolutely there is. And I would submit to you that the diagram that I just showed you can be best explained metaphysically. There is a metaphysical aspect to the technology of a human, right? There is a metaphysical aspect to that. And that's kind of how the consciousness of the soul comes to exist in 3D physical reality. If you ask any ancient Zen spiritual teacher, up to and including modern ancient Zen spiritual teachers, such as Eckhart Tolle, for example, what are they going to tell you? Well, it's pure consciousness. Basically, that's the soul. Now, I don't know that the word soul is exactly the right label for when we're discussing pure consciousness. Perhaps the self. But if you aim for pure consciousness, you're going to hit the bullseye with your soul nonetheless. That's maybe another video for another day, because the fact is the soul is multidimensional and it is partially metaphysical, which is like a step beyond pure consciousness. Pure consciousness itself is more like source. Okay, that's where everybody is connected. And I didn't mean to open up that can of worms. That's kind of the topic of my book. Like how do you tell the difference between those two things? But there is a very well-defined technology for you to tell the difference between those two things. And in a nutshell, it could be described quickly as, well, I am an individualized soul, and every single one of you watching is an individualized soul. Unless, of course, my twin flame is watching, then she is also my individualized soul. Okay, but all the rest of you guys watching are individualized souls. But when it comes to the deepest level, at pure consciousness, that's where everybody is uniform. So that's just kind of a quick high-level overview. I might have given you more questions than answers. And those are fascinating things to talk about, but I want to get back on track to the matter at hand here, which is past lives with your twin flame. So again, this is a video about your individualized soul, not necessarily how individualized souls could be connected. Again, maybe that's a video topic for another day. Very interesting still, nonetheless. I'll give you a clue. It has something to do with how a hologram works. Okay, and you may have heard it said that we're living in a holographic universe. Well, it is true. Now, back on track here with the past lives. I gave you 4 signs, and I told you that I would spend the bulk of this video getting into the meat of that, and I have. I just gave you a very good context. Guys, your twin flame is you at the level of the soul. They are not a different being from you. Any other incarnation taking place, past or future, no matter how many they were or where they were, it's all you. It's all you. You are them. Now, the mind is asking a million questions right now. Remember, body, mind, soul. The mind is asking a million questions. The soul doesn't really question. It just kind of knows what to do. It's deeper than pure thought. You might say that the soul is pure reason. It's pure logic. It's something like that. Intuition. Okay, now it is a step closer to pure being. It is true, pure consciousness. And again, if you aim for the bullseye there, which is source itself, if you aim for the bullseye within you, which is, again, pure source itself, pure consciousness, you're going to be in alignment with your soul automatically. So just aim for the bullseye of pure consciousness. And that is exactly how I coach my students. So you'll find yourself in a place or a way or a state, I should say, of experiencing the soul as the true self. You just know that you're going to be with this person. Why? Because you already are them. It's not that you're gonna be with them, it's that you are them. That's why you have that knowing that you're gonna be together. And the knowing that you're gonna be together is it's the mental, it's the mind. Remember, body, mind, soul. That's how the mind is interpreting that intuitive energy that you're feeling instinctively in your heart and in your gut, perhaps. I just know we're going to be together. And the mind is going, how do you know that? So that's why there seems to be a disparity. I told you I would address why is there this doubt and knowing going on at the same time? Well, it's because There's two things going on. There's the knowing and there's the doubt. Why are there two things going on, knowing and doubt? It's because they're coming from two places. One is coming from the soul, the other one is coming from the mind. So just don't listen to the mind. It's that simple. The mind wants to stay in control, and this is the whole basis of traditional Zen spiritualism, is a thing called mindfulness. That's really all I teach my students. You might think I'm a twin flame teacher. Am I? Because really all I talk about with people is how to align with your soul, which is something that's ancient. It's been taught for thousands of years, you guys. The first thing I have people do is read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle and watch the Samadhi movie. And you can watch Samadhi for free on YouTube right now. And I highly recommend you do that. Make sure you start with part 1. Definitely watch part 1 first. Don't skip around. Or part 2 and 3, they might not make sense to you. So it's really just a proven Zen methodology that I teach people. And this is actually, in our modern world, this is the age of Aquarius. We're getting more technological about this. Quantum physics is making discoveries that are even in alignment with the kind of technology I am, say, writing a book about. Body, mind, soul. What is the human technology? What is that? How does that thing work together? Body, mind, soul. How does that work together? And quantum physics is actually validating a lot of the theories that spiritual teachers have been talking about for thousands of years. How about that? So welcome to the age of Aquarius. It is time for us to have this science-based conversation about twin flames. Okay, number 2, I don't think I reiterated point number 2 yet. Why are you having dark night of the soul? Well, again, ancient Zen spiritualism, they are going to call this something else other than dark night of the soul. What they are going to call it is ego death, but it's the exact same thing. Ego death, that's what it has been called in ancient Zen spiritualism. It is the breaking down of your ego. Okay, the ego is an entity. It's not an actual person. You inside are the conscious being, the soul. The mind just is programming. It's just mimicking what it believes to be, in a nutshell, life. And it can't believe anything. It's just a tape recording that plays over and over and over again. Okay, it's programming. It's not conscious, the mind, the ego, the personality. It's an entity. It's like a robot, okay? And energetically, it starts to melt away for you, okay? And there's a lot of spiritual teachings about this. And you can even watch some of my past twin flame coaching videos. I talk about this all the time. It's the ego breaking down. This is the beginning of your spiritual awakening. That's all that is, guys. So again, with the technology of the 3-part triune being, body, mind, soul, the atmosphere of mental and emotional energy that lingers around you, which is this entity called personality or ego, a lot of that is breaking down and being cleared out so that more of the consciousness of self can filter through the total 3-part triune being system. It's called a spiritual awakening. That's what this is. You met another incarnation of your soul. What did you think this was all about? This is your soul's journey. Now, you can cause this other physical person actually to come and to stay with you permanently. You can do that. And I've helped a lot of people do that. But you have to embrace this as your spiritual awakening. Nothing else. Nothing else. Number 3, the synchronicities, the signs, the numbers. Yeah, why do you think that's happening? This is your spiritual awakening. Get used to it. And guys, let me tell you something. As somebody who is well into his spiritual awakening path, since having met his twin flame, they don't stop, guys. If anything, they happen a lot more frequently now. These synchronicities, signs, and numbers. And they are even beautiful guideposts leading you to certain experiences that your soul would like you to have in your life. So welcome. Number 4, your whole world falling apart. Again, this is a blessing. Hallelujah. This is a blessing. Bring it on, right? I want the new life. And in the new life, I'm not going to have things falling apart all the time. Things are going to settle down, and I'm going to recognize that I am a creator. The possibilities for my life situation are endless and boundless. And guys, that's the best part about this. The best part isn't even getting your twin flame to come be with you, which you can cause to happen. That's just a bonus, guys. The best part of this journey is what you become. So have you had past lives with this person? Not exactly. It was always you in every single one of those incarnations. There is no other. That's all this is, you guys. That is all this is. It's you having a relationship with yourself. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. I'll see you next time.